I love a good alien design, but I also love when humans that are struggling to survive end up adopting that alien power and or design. It scratches something in the back of my head. Mad is a story that does this so well, and is the main reason why I fell in love with it to begin with. It is arguably the most vile depiction of alien power and experimentation that I've seen, and I think it does it extraordinarily well. So I am trying to hit 200,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If you want to help me get there, consider subscribing. And if you enjoy the video or find yourself coming back on the regular, leave a like. I appreciate it immensely. So imagine a world that is completely overran by these alien creatures, and by all counts of descriptions, they kind of just look like alien, the xenomorph. Very big, very elongated, very powerful creatures, and what they are doing is just hunting the human species out of existence. So humans get wiped off the face of the earth, and a small subset of them run away, hide in crevices, and the ones remaining cowering in fear. But what if there was a way that you could fight back against the aliens? Well, bullets don't really work. Grenades and artillery, probably not. These things are fast and vicious and travel in a huge pack. They're like a large, indestructible cockroaches. Well, what if I told you there was an experiment? Something that could put you on par with those aliens. Something that, if you survive, could allow the human race to once again be on top. To be the apex predator, to save the world. Sounds good, right? All you have to do is undergo probably the most vile experimentation process ever. And it's a simple one at that. All you have to do is eat a piece of that alien meat. Once you ingest that, you have a very small chance, a very, very small chance that you will live. You will go through the most painful metamorphosis you can imagine. It will break your bones, your mind, your soul. These massive blisters and boils will corrupt your skin before it melts away. All of your hair will shred off your body. You will turn into someone completely unrecognizable. All while being in consistent, agonizing pain. If, for whatever reason, you can survive this over however many days, weeks, or potentially even months it takes you to go through this metamorphosis, you could come out on the other side with incredible power. A lot of people don't survive. A lot of people die very early within the process because the pain is just way too excruciating. There's no way to quell it, there's no way to stop it, there's no way to ease it. You can't sleep through the pain, you can't take drugs to try and numb it, it will ruin you. But let's say you do make it out on the other side, you actually survive, you're now a completely different person mentally because of the torturous experimentation you've just gone through, and now you have the power of an alien. But what does that actually look like? In the world of Mad, hybrids exist, also known as adapters. Quite literally half human, half alien. These are people that have survived the experimentation process. But the process of turning into an alien is very individualistic, meaning that every alien hybrid or adapter is going to function very differently. Some people will have certain attributes, certain skills, certain abilities that are only significant to them. Which means in some way, shape or form, it's based solely on the type of character that you are. But for narrative's sake, maybe not. Just a bit of extra flair to add a bit of identity to each and every adapter. There's a lot of ways that this transformation works. It's kind of similar to a Titan shifting ability from Attack on Titan. You can transform your whole body into an upright, armored alien, complete with massive teeth, claws, your size is bigger, you might have horns, you'll most likely have some type of tail, and then you'll have an attribute that is suited to you. Sometime it could be electricity, it could be fire, it could be a type of skill like you're really fast or really strong, or other dangerous mutations. Now, all adapters have the same subset of abilities. Some are more tweaked than others, but naturally they fall pretty close to each other. Regenerative healing, so if you get limbs cut off, you can heal them back. You're more indestructible, you can take more force, more damage, etc. You can transform usually a couple of different times before you run out of steam. You're unrecognizable to other aliens, so they'll look at you kind of like one of their own, even though you're standing upright. And for the very peculiar few, maybe you can even direct the aliens like a commander. There is a bit of a mental effect however, to the transformation. Sometimes in more extreme, volatile, or out there situations, you can transform not really in control. It kind of depends. This is similar to the first time that you turn into an adapter, you're actually out of control. It's like your awakening stage, so to speak. So you have no understanding or bearing of who you are or what you are when you first awaken. And normally other adapters will have to calm you down and restrain you before you destroy everything. This can kind of happen again, where you can lose sight of yourself within the transformation or lose control within the transformation if either you're taking too much damage or, more specifically, you cannibalize. So there is another function to being an adapter, because at this point you're going to be fighting aliens, humans, and potentially other adapters, other alien transformed hybrid people. Sometimes to get the upper hand, if you're losing or your technical ability doesn't work, electricity, fire, lightning, whatever, you may need to cannibalize. And if you eat another hybrid, for example, you will mutate and turn into an unrecognizable state. Similar to the experimentation process itself, the rate of success of cannibalizing is incredibly small. Normally, it will just instantly kill people. You cannot cannibalize. The normal person cannot cannibalize. Similar to the normal person cannot be transformed into an alien hybrid. However, if you do survive, you will be out of this world. Your strength, your speed, your destructive force will be unrecognizable. In saying that, for all of this power that you will gain, you will lose your mind in the process. Very rapidly, your mind, your mentality, your emotions will start to split and break, almost like you're merging with the person that you've actually consumed, and their mind and their emotions are conflicting with yours, and you start to crack underneath your own mental pressure. It's a really unobtainable state. It's not something that you would willingly want to do, and more so something that you would do as a last resort. There is a lot that goes into depicting the alien power that I find really intriguing. For some reason, a lot of the adapters have their own specific quirks. Like I was talking about before, the main character has a lightning ability. And you don't really know why. Again, it could just be narratively to add a bit of spice to the power, which I think is very interesting, because you don't actually see the aliens themselves have that ability. However, within the story, the aliens themselves haven't really been explored all too much. They're powerful, they're scary. They serve as a backdrop to the world and a way to push people together without roaming too far and wide apart. We do know that there is somewhat of a hierarchy system though with the aliens, where some of them, the horned ones, quote unquote, are deemed more powerful, more dangerous, and are considered commanders within the group. The main character is very similar to one of those. He is the only adapter in the story so far that looks different and has horns similar to those commander aliens. This means that he is wholeheartedly unique, he is faster, he is stronger. When he went out of control, when awakening, a lot of adapters couldn't stop him because of how powerful and scary he was, but he genuinely didn't know what he was doing. His tail works in an interesting way as well, and he has a lightning ability, which is utilized in a very cool way. The main character's name is John, and would you believe it, within a fight, he basically calls an attack John Thunder. And since then, it has been recognized as his official name, both in the story, in universe, and for us as fans reading the story. I think it is genuinely the funniest thing that has come from this story, because people joked about his name being John Thunder, and now it has come true. It makes me believe that the author is 100% on Twitter looking at people's reaction to it. All things considered, I love the designs for the aliens. They're super simple, but like humanoid aliens sometimes can fall in the department of being over-designed. Like you try and give them too much. You try and make them too unique or too identifiable, but somehow for all the different iterations of like humanoid hybrid aliens, Mad is able to make them look unique. And they're not overly different. They're not overly out there. They're just kind of stylized. They look more similar to Titan shifters than they would an alien. The defining feature being like the facial structure and the fact that their armor looks more like armor rather than like a fleshy material or skin. And then they have, different iterations of different tails. That's basically it. It is effective enough of a design where you recognize that they're from the story known as Mad and not competing with anything else really within the industry without trying to do all too much. I like that. A simplified, well-designed approach is always the strongest, especially when it comes to trying to make other versions unique, like the main characters or other aliens that come out that are higher tier or a higher capable level. There's a lot more intricate of a range that's played within, so all of them look just a little bit different to one another within the same profile scope. Now, while this is the human side of the alien hybrid depiction, there is also the other side. Mad Story has been out for quite some time, and the exploration behind the aliens themselves has been very little. We know basically nothing about the aliens, where they come from, how they operate, what's their goal, etc. A good direction for this story to potentially go down is exploring the nature of aliens just a little bit. You don't want to give all too much away, but you want to excite the senses. You want to explore the possibility. And a part of that is aliens getting smarter, aliens learning from human adapters, alien hybrids potentially working with different aliens. Or the scariest one, aliens cannibalizing on themselves after seeing human adapters do it. It opens up a ton of different possibility, different speculations of what the aliens could actually accomplish. So far, they've just been raw dogging this entire planet just off pure strength and numbers alone. Now that humans are slightly starting to fight back, maybe they take a different step in evolution. Maybe they too start to create different versions of themselves, higher tier, more powerful, more chaotic, more dangerous than ever. We have yet to see a queen or a king or even the Horn Commander come back out to play, so eventually we probably will. If you haven't read Mad, please go give it a chance. I think you will thoroughly enjoy it.